Everything in the universe follows a law of symmetry. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Matters cannot be created or destroyed. It only changes their forms. When a star collapses, a nebula is born. When an ice cube melts, powder remains. Finance is no different. Money doesn't just appear or vanish. It is a flow. It is an energy. It simply changes their form. And 500 years ago, a Renaissance monk named Luca Pacioli, a friend of Leonardo da Vinci, published a book that contained the math that keeps the chaos of the world in balance. We call it double entry bookkeeping. Most people think accounting is a boring invention of the 20th century to help people pay taxes. They couldn't be more wrong. This system is the reason that we have skyscraper, international trade, and the iPhone in your pocket. It is the language of human cooperation. And tonight, we are going to show you why, if the book don't balance, nothing does. Before the 13th century, business was a guessing game. Most people use single entry. It's what you probably do with your personal bank application today. You look at your balance and you see how much money that you have. Imagine our friend, a young merchant raccoon named Randall. Randall is running a lemonade stand. He sells a cup for 10 gold coins, and he writes down that he has 10 gold coins. It is simple, right? But wait, Randall's lemon is gone. His sugar is gone. His time is gone. If Randall only tracks his cash, his business is a ghost. He doesn't know if he's actually profitable or he's just slowly running out of lemons and sugar until his business dies a silent, confusing death. Single entry is like looking at a map that only shows where you are, but not where you come from, or how much fuel that you have left. This was the merchant's trap. Merchants needed a way to see the full story of every transaction, not just the money coming in, but what was going out. So they created a system called double entry bookkeeping. Double entry means this. Every transaction is recorded twice. Once for what you receive and once for what you give. Two entries, two sides, one truth. It's not complicated. It's simply acknowledging reality. When something enters your business, something else must leave. When one thing increases, another thing decreases. This is duality in action. Every transaction has two sides, a debit and a credit. Think of it as a transformation. When our raccoon buys a heavy-duty lemon squeezer for 50 gold coins, most people see this as spending money. They feel poorer. But double entry sees transformation of forms. On one side, the raccoon now owns a squeezer. His asset increased. We call this debit. On the other, his cash is gone to buy the lemon squeezer. His asset decreased. We call this credit. The scales dip to the left, then to the right. That snaps into perfect balance. The total value of the raccoon's worth hasn't changed. It just shifted from liquid cash to productive machinery. This was the breakthrough. Partially realized that a business isn't just a pile of money. It's a living equation. Asset equals liability plus equity. A scales that balance, a cash that simply changes its form into another different kind of asset. Every time a dollar moves, it must move from one of these boxes to another. If you take a loan from a bank, your cash or your assets goes up, but your liabilities or your debt to the bank also goes up too. The equation stays in balance, the symmetry is preserved. Why did this change the world? Because double entry is a self-correction mechanism. If the raccoon is tired at 2 a.m. and accidentally writes 50 on the left side and 40 on the right side, the entire universe, his balance sheet, breaks. The system screams at him, something is wrong. Whether it's a simple typo, a stolen lemon, or a massive bank fraud, double entry is the ultimate truth teller. It's a zero trust system, created hundreds of years before the blockchain. Because of this system, a merchant in Italy could send a ship to India and know to the penny exactly what was happening on that ship without ever leaving his desk. It allowed for the creation of the first global corporation. It allowed for the complexity of the Renaissance. We often think of accounting as boring paperwork, but it's actually the highest form of human communication. If we lost the secret of double entry tomorrow, global trade would stop in hours. We would retreat back into a small, local tribes where we only trade with people we can see. Double entry is the social glue or the bridge of trust that allow us to cooperate with strangers on the other side of the planet. In the word of the revenue raccoon, we don't just count money, we audit the truth. Accounting reminds us that everything has a cost. You cannot get an asset without a corresponding credit. There is no asset without liability or equity. We live in a world that tries to ignore the bill. Governments print money, companies hide debts, and people live beyond their means. But the law of symmetry is patient. Eventually, the book must balance. So, next time you see a spreadsheet, don't look away. You are looking at the architecture of civilization. You are looking at the math that keep the chaos at bay. Because in the end, if the book don't balance, nothing does.